What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Morning Vibe, the Wednesday edition of the Morning Vibe. Got up a little bit early this morning, came into the office to film a podcast. Man, has it been a busy, just like, it feels like summer. It feels like summer has just been like out of control busy. Just between early summer, we were running back and forth doing a whole bunch of weddings. Then we ended up doing the baseball stuff up in Myrtle Beach, got home, did some stuff with Yacht. When we first got home, David Ellis, and then David was back in town this week. We did a podcast over on his channel. So when he drops that, make sure you check that out. But we are back solo on the Morning Vibe this morning. I think this is the first solo Morning Vibe I've done. And golly, it's been a while because Sarah did the one with me while we were up in Myrtle Beach. It's been a wild roller coaster ride here just the last couple of months. We're finally starting to get settled down. We are back on the road starting tomorrow. We're going to be up in Cincinnati, Ohio for a week. And then we're going to turn around and we're going to come back to home for like 2 days. Then we go to Panama City Beach for a week. And then we're back in Myrtle Beach for a week. And then after that, we really kind of start to settle back in. We get back more into our wedding schedule. But it's been a wild ride, guys, like for just a little while for sure. But I'm glad to be back on the Morning Vibe. Glad to be back here with you. Appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. I know the upload schedule has just been kind of bonkers. I am excited. We got a guest coming in via Zoom call. I'm actually going to be filming that a little bit later today. I'm really excited about that. I think you guys are really going to like that guest. So make sure you all tune in. If there's people that you would like for me to reach out to, and have on the Morning Vibe, let me know. Somebody reached out to me the other day and they were like, hey man, we would love for you to talk to XYZ. And I'm like, heck yeah, man, I'll get a hold of them and I'll see what I can do. Got some big things coming up for the rest of the summer, definitely moving into the fall, winter. This will be easier to do once we get into the fall and winter for sure, just simply by nature. It's just going to be a little bit simpler because we're just not going to be doing as much stuff outdoors. Right now, guys, I am outside every single day, which I want to be outside every day. I mean, that's, the Cameraman Ron channel is based outside. So we want to be outside for those videos. So that is our priority number one. And then of course I do love doing the podcast. If you guys missed it, we did film a podcast with David Ellis from the Yacht Show. I put that on the Cameraman Ron channel. I think I'm going to take some of the highlights. I'm going to break that down just a little bit. I'm actually going to put that over here on the Morning Vibe as well. I may have said Morning Vibe. I meant Cameraman Ron if I said Morning Vibe. I don't know. I'll hear it in playback on whether or not I got that right or not. But I don't really edit these. If I make a mistake, I just leave them in here and I'll let you guys kind of roll through the punches with me. But we are a lot of people. I had somebody reach out the other day. I'm gonna pull it up and I want to read it for word because this really hit home for me when I read this message. Let me see if I can find it here. Let's see. I don't remember. Maybe it was in an email too. I'm not sure. But basically, somebody reached out to me. They were very motivated by the Morning Vibe and some of the talks that we do. And I do like to be motivational. Obviously, I'm not the greatest motivational speaker in the world. I have learned a few things in this industry, just by nature of getting to work with such huge creators and to benefit from, working with so many people who they've gained success in a field that I'm trying to be successful in. And I really feel like when you can put yourself in position to get advice from someone who has found a lot of success in a field that you are attempting to find success in, I feel like if you go into that relationship open-minded and you truly listen, we've talked about on the podcast before, listening and making sure you're open to conversations and you're not speaking all the time. It's so important to pull that knowledge from people that are willing to give that knowledge. And I've been so blessed to be around a lot of people who have been willing to share a lot of knowledge with me. And it's been very, very beneficial. Before we get too much into today's episode, I finally feel like I have the backdrop the way I want it. You guys leave a comment down below. Let me know if there's more stuff you'd like to see, stuff you'd like to add. I really feel like I wanted like a good, clean look for the backdrop to the Morning Vibe. That was one of the main things I was working on in the beginning, was making sure that we had everything just the way I wanted to make sure it looked good. Obviously, the tarpon picture's up there now. That is very near and dear to my heart by all stretch, as you guys know. Got the bourbon collection on display over here. But if there's things things you guys think I should see or that I should put up here that you'd like to see, let me know. Somebody reached out the other day and they were like, hey, I want to send you something to put up in the backdrop. What's the address? I've got the address linked down in the description box below. Not asking you guys to send anything, but if there is something you'd like to send in that you think would look good as part of the backdrop, by all means, send it in. We will try it out, and we'll at least give it an episode or two to see what people think. And let it roll back there. But that's enough chit chat, and let's dive into today's episode. And today is going to be we'll call it motivation. We'll call it a motivational Wednesday. Somebody was wanting, that was the gist of that message, was they wanted to see us doing more of the motivational stuff. And I know I've kind of touched on this in the past, but it's been a while. It was back when we first started the Morning Vibe, so I want to talk about it again. And it's people that come in and out of your life and why. I'm a firm believer, as you guys know, I've never hid the fact. Sarah and I have a Christian background. We have always been Christians. We will always be Christians. I put my faith in God each and every day of my life. For a multitude of things, I let God lead me on my channel, and I let God lead me on this podcast and what we do and what we talk about. And I don't hide that. We pray over meals on the channel. And I know there's some people out there that are scared to do that. And this is not going to be a total, religious podcast. I'm going to be referring to my faith, in this podcast. And part of that is I'm a firm believer that God puts people into and takes people out of your life for a reason, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a friendship, whether it be a business partnership. I don't think anything's, and who knows? I'm not saying I'm the end all be all here. So, if that's not how you feel, that's fine. It's not the one for you, but I just don't feel like anything happens by happenstance, so to speak. I don't think that you have people that come into your life and they're just there. I feel like they have a purpose for being there. Especially if it's people that you develop a relationship with. And I've seen that so much over the last 2 years. I have had people come into my life who have been so influential and so motivational, and then that people have came, people have gone, and I'm okay with that. And I get questions all the time, and you guys see the questions, and what goes on over on the Cameraman Ron channel, and kind of what this year has looked like for us. And then the bottom line is, in business, especially in business. And guys, keep in mind, this is a business. It is very entertaining, and I love what I do. And I've got one of the coolest jobs in the world. I get to go out and fish and make outdoor content that you guys are so supportive of. But at the end of the day, this is a business. We are here to make money. And in business, people come and people go. And that's just the nature of business. It's just like any other job you have. Now, have I been disappointed that some of those business partnerships have ended? Sure, absolutely. I mean, you get people that come into your life and you think they're going to be there for a long time, and you really feel like from a relationship standpoint, it may be more than just business, but it's in friendship, and it's not to that other person. And that's okay. This is not a knock on anybody. That's just the way it goes. You may get a misinterpretation of what that relationship is. You maybe thought that it was more of a friendship more than a business partnership, when in reality, they may have looked at it more as just a business partnership and not as a friendship. And that's okay, because God removes people from your life because God hears things that you don't. And God brings people into your life because God hears things that you don't. And I don't want to get into like mentioning names and that, because that's not what I'm here to do. But I will tell you that for every person that has exited my life recently, God has replaced them with people who have benefited me 100 times more. And I truly mean that. And again, this is not a knock on those people that have moved on or have done different things. That's their business, and they have every right to do that business. And I want them to be successful. I want everybody to be successful. I've always said that from the get-go is, don't ever wish bad things on people who have moved on from your life, because they may have moved on from your life for a reason all their own that you will never understand. But that may be something that they needed to do to benefit them in a way that you just can't comprehend. And that's okay, because for the same path that God is leading me down, he may be leading somebody else down a different path. So that's why you never see me get bitter about anything. I really don't. I don't get upset when people come and people go. And it's, sometimes people are there for a short amounts of time. I've done stuff with people that God put into my life, and it was a very short season, and it was a very stern lesson in a short season. I've had people that were in my life for, years, and then you kind of move on, and they move on, one or the other. You outgrow each other. But again, always keep in mind that for the most part, people that come and go in your life, there is a reason behind it, and that's okay. It's okay to move on or to not be as close to somebody. It's funny because when we moved to Florida, my oldest son Chase has got a really, really good friend in Kentucky. His name's Matthew. Very, very bright kid. Got a huge, very, very bright future ahead of him. And I think that Chase was concerned when we moved to Florida because Matthew was his closest friend. And I think he was like, I don't know, can a friendship survive, that distance or whatever? And it's cool because when we go back to Kentucky, him and Matthew are just as good of friends as they ever were. That friendship has survived, which means that's a good friendship. That's something that Chase values and Matthew values, and it's so important for those relationships to continue. You've heard or you've read probably, I'm sure, where people talk about, I don't have to talk to my best friend every single day, because when I do talk to them, it's like, we can go 3 weeks without talking, but the second I pick that phone up, it's like we've talked every single day for our whole life. Those types of friendships are to be valued. They truly, truly are. You need to value those types of friendships because those don't come along very, very often. They truly don't. And it's just, I see people in the content creation world, and we've had some stuff come up here in the last couple months where people have reached out and it hadn't been a good fit for me. I will tell you, I have been much more selective of who I've chosen to work with just recently, and that's just I don't want to say it's for my own protection, like to make it sound like that's weird. That's not, I don't mean it like in a protection sort of like physical protection, but I just feel like I went through a little spell there where everybody that reached out, I'm like, yeah, we'll work together and we do one or two things, and then it wasn't a good fit. So what I've tried to do is just be a little bit more selective for who I bring into my inner circle, I guess so to speak. I mean, it's just, and I think I never put a huge value of importance on that. Probably like I should have. I feel like probably looking back, there should have been equal value for me in relationships or business partnerships that I've had in the past. And so I'm much more careful now to be like, okay. And I know that to what I'm leading into there, that can feel like a very selfish thing, but it's not. If you're going to be investing your time and you're not going to be being paid for your time, you have to ask yourself, what value am I getting out of this for me? Because everything you do in life, there has to be some kind of value for it for you. Now, that's not to say that it has to be monetarily. That's not the point. There's a lot of things that can come out of a relationship or a business partnership that's not monetary. I've just chosen to be, and I'm not just talking about other creators. My main thing I'm talking about here is like partnerships. I will tell you guys, I've never hid the fact from you guys. I feel like I got into some bad deals when I first started doing content creation. I was not asking anyone for advice. This is not me being like, oh, so-and-so let me get into this is not what I'm saying. I was not asking for anybody's advice back then. I was getting these deals and I was signing them, and I wasn't looking into them long term, and I wasn't looking into them from a value point of view for me and my channel. Now, monetarily, yes, I get paid, so that's a great deal. You make money. Now, obviously, that's what we're here for. We're here to make money, but there's only so much money that you can make that is not going to become a good value for your channel. And I know that might sound a little confusing, but a good partnership, I'll give you a prime example. My relationship with Ninja Dagger or Ninja Tackle up in Virginia, Matt and those guys. Matt is probably one of the best business owners at creating value for creators. Every time we post a video or if we post a picture, Matt is sharing that. He is trying to build our brand using his brand. He understands the value in that. For him, obviously, if we're using his stuff, that's going to promote his stuff, and he understands that. He could let it be there. He could say, okay, I sent you rods, I'm writing you a paycheck, whatever he's doing. But he doesn't stop there. When we post a video, he shares that video. Look what Cameraman Ron caught on the 7-foot go-to rod. Look what Yakking with Jack caught on the 7-foot go-to. Look what Justin Reed caught on, his new 12-foot dagger, or whoever it is. I'm just throwing names out there of some of the local creators that I work with. Matt does an amazing job at trying to add value to our channel through his brand, just like we do for him. The flip side of that is you have to add value to that company through using your brand, your name. But so many companies that you work with do not offer that back to you in any way, shape, or form. All they're looking for is to see their name in your video. They don't want to have a relationship with you. They don't want to have a business partnership with you. They just want to see their product in your video. You have to be really, really cautious of that, because getting into bad deals like that can, if you sign the wrong one, it can be lasting for your channel. And I mean, I've definitely had a couple of those. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just being honest with you guys. Over on the Cameraman Ron side, I definitely signed some bad deals. Now I'm much more selective in that process. I'm much more selective of who I bring on board. Now, with that being said, I can't stress this enough. If there's something you're wanting, like I'm getting ready to drop a video over on the Cameraman Ron channel, and it's a review video. And I know some people don't like the review videos, whatever. I make them stand alone. I don't put ads on them. So it's, if you don't like them, just don't watch them. It's not that hard. But it was something that I wanted. In this case, it was something that I actually needed. So therefore, I took it and I made a review video on it. In my mind, there's nothing wrong with that. And some people may tell you different. But for me, if it's something I'm actually looking for or something I want, I don't mind to do that deal for a one-off video. But for me, for like long-term partnerships, like a Ninja Tackle partnership, I'm much more selective now of who I sign with, just because I've seen the good. And I'll tell you, Matt Poole from Ninja Tackle is one of the guys that really opened my eyes to that. He was one of the first ones that I ever did a deal with that, obviously he furnishes me with my rods. He sends me lures. He hooks me up with people when I go places. The whole John Scheidel thing up in Myrtle Beach was, a huge benefactor of Brian Demo from Finding Demo's Surf Fishing podcast and Matt Poole from Ninja Tackle. They put us together. And honestly, had I not met John when I was up in Myrtle Beach, I would have had a really hard time making content up there. He brought extreme value to my channel, because had I not met him, I would not have had the opportunity really to make the videos that I made. So that was value that now, hopefully I added value to his channel too, or to his business, because obviously I want him to book charters off of those videos. And I mean, he's told me that he's gotten good feedback from them. So that is a value for value transaction between business partners. And I just don't think I got that a lot. But when I started working with Matt from Ninja Tackle, it was another sign. God brought that partnership into my business life for a reason, because he saw things I didn't see and he heard things I didn't hear. So we became partners with Ninja Tackle, and it really opened my eyes to what a partnership should be and what it should look like from a business standpoint. Matt's out here sharing, if I put a post on and I've got a Ninja rod in my hand, Matt's going to share that post, and he's going to be like, hey, look what Cameraman Ron caught. Or if I go out and I catch a fish on that rod, he's going to share that video. And what that does is it's giving me an opportunity to be in front of a new audience. Therefore, it adds value to my brand. It adds value to my channel. And that is so, so important. Whether you're collaborating, and don't get me wrong, I'm not telling you don't collaborate with smaller channels. That's not what I'm saying. That if you're taking that right now, you're listening to me wrong. What I'm saying is, make sure that it's going to add some kind of value to your content to move forward. Prime example, Dustin from Dusty Fish Go. Really been doing a lot of stuff with Dusty over on the Cameraman Ron channel. The video that dropped yesterday, you guys saw Dustin was offshore with us, had a fantastic trip. But Dustin is adding value to my content. And what I mean by that is, when I film a video, Dustin is present in my video. Now, what I have to make sure I do in return is make sure that I'm present in Dustin's videos. That's how I add value to his channel. You can't get into a relationship where someone is only there for you to be present in their videos. It just does not work. It never will. And when the time comes for them to be present in your video, you can get, and it'll slip through the cracks once or twice. Don't get me wrong. Of course it does. I mean, there's been plenty of times where I've went out to make a video for somebody else's channel and it just didn't work out, or they've come to make it. I mean, I'll give you guys a prime example of that is Julie and Brent from Real Coastal. Love those guys. Huge shout out to Brent and Julie. But we have tried, literally, I think I can count on 4 different occasions. We've went out and tried to collaborate, and we just weren't able to make a video for either of our channels. So that's going to happen sometimes. But when we were there, they were present in my video. I was present in their video, and that's going to be so invaluable. Make sure that's the type of people that you're surrounding yourself with. It's so important for them to be able to come out and do something to add value to your video or you to add value to theirs. Just always be that person that when somebody looks up, whether they're still in your life or whether you've moved on for them or they moved on from you, always be the person that you can wholeheartedly look back and say, hey, with my time with them, I used it well. I lived well. I did right by them. I added value to what they were doing. And as long as you have that peace of mind of what you're doing, I think you can walk away from any situation and be completely fine with it. Guys, that's all I got for you today. I truly hope you enjoyed this. I know that's a little bit of a long-winded answer. I hope it helps some of you out, but don't be scared to venture outside your comfort zone, to move on from things that are not benefiting you anymore. I know it can be scary, but I promise you, God, if you've ever listened to Steve Harvey, The Jump, there's never been a situation in your life that God hadn't gotten you through. Because if he hadn't, you wouldn't be sitting here today. Guys, that's all I got for you today. As always, make sure you find a way to make somebody smile. You never know. It just might change the world. We can't wait to see y'all on the next one. Y'all take care. We will see you soon.